Hey, everybody. This is Mike Copera with podcastcondition.com, bringing you episode 102 of What You Drinking. And here starting off a little light with just myself and Dan, as always. So thanks for joining, Dan. Appreciate it.
No worries. How you doing?
I'm good. I was busy today. Had a lot of stuff to do. We got some out-of-town guests staying with us this weekend, so had a lot of home chores to do in the midst of my work day as well. So
yeah, that's a full plate.
Busy day. But finishing up my beer from dinner. I've got my import for the evening. How about you?
I do. Actually, I got it a while ago. I got this on the way back from the what was it? The Alpine Beer Festival up in Milwaukee a couple of months ago. So.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
What do you got?
Sorry. I got.
I was like, did you freeze or?
No. I was just like, you didn't ask me exactly what I had, just if I had brought one. So no, that's cool. I got the Herr Fredrickson from it's Amager Breihaus. So I'm guessing that's brew house. It's a Dutch brewery, and it's an imperial. I think they call it a Danish imperial stout. But it's American hops. Let's see here. What does it say on the back? We have named this beer after a good friend. I won't get into all that. His favorite beer style is an impy, so naturally that's what we brewed for him. I think it has. Is it Centennial? Shoot, my eyes are so bad. Yeah, there we go. It's heavily roasted malts and a blast of Centennial hops. So, we're just kind of curious for a Danish brewery to be doing that. Or I forget if it's Danish or Dutch. But let me get a taste of it. It's still a little cold. It smells good. And
you got it in what state?
Wisconsin at Tenuda's in Kenosha.
Oh.
It's this little, it's an Italian liquor store with a, like an Italian deli on the side of it, that you can access from the outdoors. They have some outdoor seating for it. It's kind of a cool place. I definitely, if you're in the area, you happen to be trucking down 94 and you blow by, I think it's off of 50. Start heading east towards the lake on 50, and you'll eventually come to it. And they've got a ton of imports. They actually have Weyerbacher there. So there's domestics that you can't get in Illinois if you happen to be in state here, and of course they've got New Glarus all over the place. So good stuff, and it's a fun little place if you want to grab lunch too.
Nice. Did you say that's barrel aged too, or is it just a regular imperial stout?
No, it's just a regular impy stout, but it's a good solid one. It is a little. It would have been nice maybe to let it sit on it a little bit longer and let the hops fade a little bit more. Because they're pretty pronounced, and it's not overwhelming it, but it's hiding some of the malt underneath it more than I'd like. But it's still really good. It's and it'll probably be better when it warms up too, because it is still pretty cold, like I said. But yeah, solid offering. So what you drinking?
Well, let's say hi to Mike. He joined us.
Oh, there's Mike.
Describing the beer. What's going on, Mike?
You can see. Hey.
How's it going?
Good, man. How you been?
All right. Doing all right.
I got word that Kalen's not going to be with us this evening, most likely, because he's going to be a little busy.
Yeah, they had a baby earlier this week. I'm not sure what day it was, Monday or whether it was yesterday.
That's awesome.
Oh, wow.
But yeah, so he's probably tied up tonight.
Yeah, well, cheers to that.
I was going to say, if you see it later, Kalen, congratulations.
Did they have a little
Cheers.
girl? Was it a girl or a boy? I thought it was a girl. I thought.
It's a boy.
Oh, it is. Nice.
Yep. But yeah, doing well. Very happy. Really excited. So it was nice because we got to see them a couple weeks ago when we were in California, and so they knew that they were just they were counting down the days that it was going to be any time now. So glad we got to see them. Too bad we didn't get to see them after the baby, but it was good that we saw them close to the baby's arrival at least. And I know his wife Courtney was ready, so good for them.
We're getting there.
I was going to say Ronnie's got to be close too.
Yeah.
Not enough.
She's getting there. Well, we'll definitely have to hear about your trip to California. But what beer did you bring tonight?
Yeah, so tonight I've got a unfiltered, bottle conditioned farmhouse ale. It's from Belgium, and it's a beer that I had for the first time a few months ago when I was in New York City, and I had never heard of it, never seen it before, and I just happened to be at a pretty good bar where the bartender was knew a lot about beer and just asked me what I liked, what I was into, and this was the first one that he suggested, and it was really, really good. And so I was happy that when I went to the store yesterday to pick up something that was imported for tonight's show, that this one was one of the options.
Nice.
So it is the Saison DuPont.
Ah, that is a good one. I had that before.
Very smart. That's like the quintessential Saison, basically. That's like the one that kind of put them on the map.
Yeah. It's really good, and ever since I had it the first time, I've been looking them up a little bit, and yeah, it's exactly what you said is what I have read about them, is that it's really the quintessential Saison, and it's from Belgium, and I pick up some of the real like Belgian beer influences. Like it's got kind of a Belgian sort of the Belgian style kind of banana flavor to it, but it doesn't last long, and it kind of goes the real kind of Saison funky flavors kind of come through after that, and it's delicious. It's you can see, like, I poured it maybe like 5 minutes ago, and the head was up here, and it's just hanging out there. It's down to here now, but it smells delicious. It tastes delicious. It was a good option for tonight, I think.
Oh, yeah.
That's awesome. It's been years. I can't tell you the last time I had that beer. I was just thinking about it not too long ago too. It was some podcast I was listening to. It might have even been Good Beer Hunting, where Michael Kaiser was talking about that. So that's a fantastic Saison, and for someone that likes that style so much, that's a good one for you to have.
Yeah, it's good. It's good for I was just looking at the bottle before I joined, and it gives a little bit of a description of the beer and everything. And one of the things it says is beer to be brewed. Saison was a beer to be brewed in winter for summer drinking. And I'm out here on the porch at my house. The windows are open. It's a good summer night, and it's a good beer to have on a summer night. That's for sure.
Nice. Yeah, I love that. I've been on that porch. It's very nice. I'm a little jealous right now. That's awesome. So I've got something I've had before, and a lot of people probably have, but it's been a while. So I picked this guy up over at Binny's, but it's all over the place actually. But this is a Belgian style, but it is made in Canada. This is La Fin du Monde.
Mm-hmm.
This is from the Unibrew. Is it Unibrew or Unibro?
I thought it was Unibrow.
I would assume that, but I've heard it being said different ways. So
I always call it that just because it should be called that no matter what.
Yeah.
There's so much banana smell into this one. It's so good. It's a 9%. Bottle fermented. It's a Belgian triple, and came out with some decent carbonation, but nothing too crazy. So,
is La Fin du Monde the end of life? Is that what that is?
It's the end of something.
The world?
Could be. Yeah, I know that because we were doing a podcast. It was like last weekend, and there was Uniani had a.
What does La Fin du Monde mean? Go ahead. Sorry.
There you go. I remember Monda from. There was another term for.
I don't want to interrupt you, but
That's okay. Siri, what did Siri say?
Siri is the worst. I don't know. I hope this picks up. What does... Oh, you can't read it. It says,
Yeah.
what does Muffin Dumond meeting God start? What does La Fin du Monde translate to? Ugh.
Let me check on that. Okay, I found this on the web for what does the fin du monde translate to.
Oh boy.
I don't really have the most confidence in this, but sorry to interrupt. I just thought
That's
that
all
was...
right. No, it was the Oniani thing, because that was another time where I was trying to speak French, and that word came up in whatever what was it, their beer club program that they have going. So that's why I was on top of that. I was like, I wonder if I pronounced that right.
It is end of the world.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it's a good beer, man. I haven't had this in a while. It's an amazing triple. And it's not expensive. I didn't get this at Benny's. I got it at Mariano's too. It's like just a grocery store chain out here now. And it was like, I think just like $6.50 maybe. It's like under $7 for this big old bottle.
Yeah, 9% you said?
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah, I saw that one when I was picking this up. I almost went for it, but then I couldn't resist the Saison Dupont.
Oh yeah, I mean I would have gone that direction as well, but I don't think they don't have Saison Dupont at Mariano's. I mean, it's probably going to get there eventually because they've been really stepping up their beer game. I'm telling you. I don't know if you've been to. There was a new one that just opened up in. I don't know if it's still considered Northbrook or not, Dan, but there's one at Willow.
Yeah.
I think I was describing it to you on Sunday. They've got like an LA Fitness and all this new stuff popping up.
Oh yeah, that's right. You were talking
about
that.
I popped in there for lunch. What's up, Champ? Can you hear me?
Hi guys, how are you? How y'all doing?
All right,
good. How's it going, man?
Hey, how
Good,
are ya?
good. It's been a crazy day and just a lot of this, a little bit of that, and here I am. But let me go ahead and get my beer, this foreign beer, and we'll continue our discussion. Hold on.
Sounds good, man. So how was California, Mike?
Oh, it was great. It was great. It was as you will soon find out. Vacationing with the kids is a lot of fun, but not relaxing at all.
That sounds about right.
We came back and we felt like we needed another vacation to recover from the vacation. But it was a lot of fun. My wife's family is all out there, so a lot of it is visiting family and hanging out and stuff. Which she's got a lot of family, so it's a lot of going around different places, making sure that we spend equal time, or at least a reasonable amount of time with everybody. But it was a lot of fun, and I tried a lot of good beer, so that's always good as well. But it was a good trip. It was a good trip, and I was saying earlier that we saw Kalen and his wife Courtney. We actually met up with them for dinner one night at a place called the Tustin Brewing Company. It's in Orange County in Tustin, and they've got a not a large beer list, but a pretty decent one. In addition to making their own beer on site, and Kalen impressed me by giving his name and a number, and they came out with his own personal mug. So
nice.
Apparently he goes there pretty often.
Regular.
But they had a beer called Jackson's Imperial IPA, which was a double IPA that was one of their own. I guess the brewer there, his name is either his first name or his last name is Jackson. I don't know, but it was Jackson's Imperial IPA. And, it was delicious. It was really, really good. And from there, I think the second beer I had was a Lagunitas. was their daytime. It was one of their it wasn't their Lagunitas IPA. It was a different version of it. It might have been the daytime. Yeah, but it was a neat place and a good beer list. So it was good trip, a lot of fun, good beer, good time.
Nice. Glad to hear that. California is a good place for beer, so you can't really go wrong too many places there. How about you, Jean-Pierre? Think you got your beer?
Well,
Jamaica?
I got my beer, Mr. Red Stripe. I got it in front of me right here tonight as a farm beer. Of course, it's brewed in Jamaica, but I think recently, I'm looking online, I think it says somewhere in, if I'm pronouncing it correctly, Labarty, Pennsylvania, I believe it is. But it's one of these, foreign beers, a Jamaican lager, just like with Cara beer, and another beer that, if you live in like around the New York, New Jersey area where there's a lot of West Indian folks and Caribbean folks, you see the beer, Cara beer, and also see another beer called Prestige. And if you live down South Florida, you also will see this beer too, Prestige as well. But anyway, Red Stripe is pretty much everywhere. I figured it'd be perfect for this foreign beer examination, and I like it. It's very smooth. I had one on Friday, and I had another one on Monday, and it's a very good lager, very smooth, very easy drinking, and I really enjoy it. And I think it's a pretty decent beer. So I've had it before. So, but it's a beer that doesn't get much love. And of course, you may remember the commercials of it during the on what's that show on ESPN, Around the Horn.
Mm-hmm.
You had the ambassador, doing these funny, goofy commercials, and hooray beer, So it's a very decent beer to me.
Yeah, I drank. That was the only beer that they had on the islands when I was on my honeymoon in Jamaica. So
Right.
It was on tap everywhere.
Right.
And in bottles. The room was always stocked in the fridge with that stuff. So nice, man. So Dan, I can't remember. Were you last at a fest or something before we last spoke? I can't remember if that was before Sunday or not that we talked, because we didn't have a show last week.
Oh no! Oh, I know what you're talking about though. No, what? Well, kind of. Birkin here in town had basically an entire week devoted to Firestone Walker beers, and every couple of days they were releasing one of their reserve beers, and so on Monday of last week they had, Sukaba, and then on Wednesday they had Parabola. So Sukaba being their barrel-aged English-style barley wine. Parabola is their barrel-aged Russian Imperial Stout. And then on Friday they had their anniversary ale, and their anniversary ale is a pretty cool concept. What they do is every year they kind of look at the year that they had, and they go to the reserve beers and some of the regular beers that they brewed that year, and they'll kind of take the story of that year and they'll do it in a blend of beers that then becomes their anniversary ale. So it'll be a significant amount of a base beer, like 50% Parabola, say, and then they'll start adding in a little bit of this and a little bit of that until they get it the way they want it to taste. And that was this year's the 18th anniversary ale, and oh my God, that was some good beer. That if given another year just to let that heat die down a little bit more, and that is going to be a spectacular beer. But I had their 17 before that because I had a couple of bottles. I still have one left, and that tastes like a beer that they just are getting better and better every year, because I think blending is one of those skills that the more you do it, the better you get at it, and the better you get at it, the better the results. So I'm excited to get anniversary ales from them in the future from now on. It's just great stuff.
So when are you going to start blending your homebrews?
When I make enough. I'm gonna have to go.
Anniversary ale.
Well, I did make a Pluto beer this week, actually. On the 14th, since that was the day of closest flyby, I finally brewed the English barley wine that I've been meaning to brew forever. and I called it Pluto's Share. So it's kind of a tip of the hat to Pluto, god of the underworld, and this being like a, some sort of tribute to that. But it's also a tribute to the New Horizons flyby, which was, man, that was just awesome. So
nice, man.
That's
Well,
good.
I'm excited. There's a release coming out this Friday, a Half Acre here in Chicago. They're releasing a beer that they have not done. I don't think it's been done for like 3 or it might be even longer. I want to say it's been about 5 years since they did this beer. But it's it's a one that they did with one of my other favorite breweries, Shorts, called Freedom of 78.
Oh yeah.
There's a song by Ween called Freedom of 76, and both breweries are huge Ween fans, so they kind of bonded over that, I guess, in 2010 probably, when they did the craft beer conference here in Chicago. And so they did this IPA with like, I forget how many pounds it was, but they used like guava. So they peeled like hundreds and hundreds of pounds of guavas and then put them into this IPA.
Oh man.
And it's honestly one of my favorite beers. At least the one that I've had the most recent one I had was maybe like 2 years ago, because they still make it every year in Michigan at Shorts. But they've never done it again at Half Acre. And I remember asking them about it, why they've never done it again, and it was basically because peeling all that guava is a pain in the ass, and then you've got like a lot of garbage to dispose of. So apparently it's kind of a pain, but they've been bringing back like a lot of their older stuff that they said they won't do again or haven't done in so long. So this Friday they're coming out with it again. So I might have to figure out a way to get some of it this weekend. Maybe during we have our baby shower downtown, and I'm just dropping off my wife and then picking her up when it's over. So I might have to swing by and pick that up for the ride home.
We'll see.
Oh,
What a
man.
guy! What a guy!
That's right.
Cheers to you.
Well, she always does. She does get a sip of every beer that I have. I open a beer, she gets the first ceremonious sip. She's in the mood, and so she'll be happy to have some. Plus, I'll put a couple bombers aside of it. She's going to be able to have some in a couple months. So.
Yep.
Nice.
Did she invite you to the baby shower? Say, hey, come on down. There'll be some guys there at the baby shower, and you show up. There's no guys there, and it's like, man, damn, how did I get here?
No, but I was at our wedding shower, and I was definitely the only guy. But I knew that, and I know that I would be the only guy if I went to this one too. And she's not even, she's not really making me go or suggesting it, so I'm okay with that.
Okay.
So we're good.
Where you'll be having to, honey, can you do me a favor? Can you help me with this? Can you help me with that? Can you help me move this over here?
Well, I'll definitely be helping carrying all the gifts into the car. that's pretty much my main job of being downtown.
I was going to say that you tend to be muscle at those sorts of occasions.
Yes, yes.
And that's fine with me. I'm good with that.
That works.
Any releases by you guys anywhere outside of the Chicagoland area, or Dan? I don't know if you know of anything in your neck of the woods. You're not too far.
I was going to say, the only thing that I've heard of is that Woot Stout's supposed to be on the ground here in Chicago, which means it's probably on the ground elsewhere in the area.
Really? 'Cause they didn't send it last year to us.
I know. But I did hear from the, you see, that was actually one of the things about the Firkin experience last week, too, is that the same day that their distributor was in for this Firestone Walker event on Wednesday, Stone is also running a month-long special at Firkin this July, and so their rep was in on the same day, and he stopped at our table because they'll kind of circulate around the room when they show up, and so he sat down and he's like, yeah, Woot Stout's coming back. Last year I think that the distribution was such and the amount that they brewed was such that they only released it in California, but it's back now, and they've brewed more. So
I'm happy to hear it because that beer is amazing. I still have one bottle of the original one.
Yep.
It's amazing. I had like 3 because I was trying to get all 3 bottles because they did 3 variations of the label, or not even label. It's kind of like I don't even know what do you call it when they've got like it's like etched in almost. I don't really know what they call that kind of a label.
Oh, I have no idea. I have to see the label.
I can grab it, but it's not like a label that you stick on. It's kind of like etched into the bottle itself.
Oh, right. So it's like a decal almost.
No, it's like embossed onto the bottle. There.
Oh, then it's embossed. That sounds good.
Yeah.
Hey.
Yep.
I'm sorry, guys. I hate to do this here. I really want to be in this conversation, but wife just called me for something, so I will try to catch the tail end of this in a little bit. So I'm going to make this really quick, okay?
You gotta do what the wife says, man.
Yeah, exactly. Bye.
All right, take care. So yeah, go ahead and talk about that a little bit further. I'll grab the bottle. I'll show you what it looks like, at least my version of what's left.
Okay. No, I mean, there's not a whole lot to talk about. You know, we were at the restaurant. The guy sits down at our table, and we start talking about the specials. And he talked about Wood Stout. And I think part of that, too, is because it's kind of associated with Comic-Con, and Comic-Con happened to be running that weekend, I want to say, or was about to run the next weekend. And Will Wheaton is the person who always collaborates on that beer. And, you know, he's big in that community as well. So I think it kind of converged, and that's why that conversation happened. But I have no idea why 2.0 was so hard to get. All I know is that it sounded like 3.0 from what this distributor guy was saying was going to be significantly easier to get. That didn't mean it was going to be, you know, like the next 12-pack in every aisle of every store, but it was going to be around at least. So
did he say it was it's out or it's coming out or it's like?
No, he said that it was at the warehouses at the moment. And that was Wednesday of last week. Oh, there you go. Yeah.
So that's Will Wheaton, or no, that's what's the guy from Fark?
I forget his name.
I'll know in a second. But then there's Will Wheaton on here.
There you go. Yeah, that's him.
And then there's good old Greg.
Yeah.
So they put 3 labels out on it the first year that it came out, and it's amazing. It's a really, really good. And it's strong, too. It's boozy as hell.
Yeah. No, that's a good one to sit on, then.
Yeah, it's 13%.
Oh, yeah. It's got a little kick to it.
I've had one every year since it came out, like, of the original, of course. But Stone's YouTube channel has been showing a lot of the beers. I think we talked about it last episode that we actually did, where... what's her name? Aisha Tyler is doing a beer. She's doing like a black IPA with Stone.
Yeah.
She's apparently a home brewer. Yeah, so.
No, that's awesome.
They're releasing quite a few of them. But yeah, this is a 2013, so it's a couple years old. Yeah.
I'll be on the lookout for it. I've heard of it. I think you guys have talked about it before on shows. I've seen it out here. So here's hoping. That was the same case with the Bourbon County, and up until this year, I had never really seen it around here. But then this year, it was everywhere. So
was it? Did you get any?
Oh, the Bourbon County, yeah, definitely. I saw it the first time I saw it. I bought 2 bottles, and then like a week or 2 later, I saw it again, and I bought like 3 or 4.
Good move.
I really stocked up because I was excited because I'd never seen it before. But here's hoping that the Wood Stout makes it east.
Yeah, I mean, that much I'm not as certain about it. Well, is Stone one of the breweries that's headed out east? Like they've got a second brewery out there now? I want to say that they are.
Yeah, Stone. I don't know. I don't think they have a brewery out here, but I get a fair amount of beers from Stone.
I forget where they decided they're going to open up. I know they just did the one in Germany.
Yeah, they have Germany. They have
their their Eastern presence. I forget because I remember there was a big deal about it. They were doing voting and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, and I forget if they landed in North Carolina as part of that wave, because North Carolina had a huge wave of West Coast breweries that moved in there. I think that actually may have been Virginia. It might have been Virginia.
That sounds familiar. I feel like they might have, and yeah, whether it was somewhere in the South, whether it was North Carolina or Virginia or mid Atlantic, but but up to this point, there's always been Stone beers available, but it's they're more common. The IPA is pretty much everywhere around here, and then you get a few others, a couple in bombers, different varieties and stuff. So it wouldn't be crazy to see it around here, but I've never seen it so far.
No, and it's been interesting with them too, because with Stone being around as long as they had that most recent wave of sort of recipes that went through a 2.0, and I was just thinking about this because Sierra Nevada was really kind of in the lead with the their Sierra Nevada Pale Ale, and that hasn't changed up. And it kind of got me thinking, why is it that Stone kind of has this drop off, and they have trouble kind of moving their classics, and Sierra Nevada Pale Ale kind of keeps going strong? Yeah, I don't know. What do you guys think?
Sorry, I'm sorry. I was looking. My computer was freezing up a little bit, and I was dealing with some issues.
That's all right. No, I was just saying that Stone has had the 2.0 releases recently, where they've gone through the recipe reformulations.
Yeah, I grabbed the Ruination 2.0 yesterday. I haven't had it yet.
Okay, yeah, that was one of the beers that I think I had a taster of that at Firkin, and that was good. But if you look at Sierra Nevada, which is equally, if not older than Stone, their Sierra Nevada Pale Ale is kind of still going strong. There's, they don't have that sort of problem where they're reformulating old recipes. And I'm just wondering why you think Stone is having this sort of need to redo things, reinvent the wheel, but like a Sierra Nevada isn't. What's the difference?
Yeah, I think we talked about this on the show before as far as Stone goes. Why I remember Chris, Mr. Liquid Bread, he was bringing that up as far as why Stone was redoing some of their beers and his thoughts. I don't know. I think you can maybe just get bored of doing the same beers. I mean, I guess that's not something to do if you're a business and you're like trying to bring in new customers or anything like that. But I don't know. I think it just creates newness, or some sort of word of mouth. People start talking about it, it's changing, and then someone's like, oh, I got to try the original so I know what it's like first, and sorry, just like kicked me off. So yeah, I don't know. I just think it's interesting. I like the idea. I just I don't know really the reason behind doing it. They've got a couple videos out of them talking about the new recipes and how they've done it with a couple of them now, right? It's been like
with a bunch of them, or they've just flat out retired some others.
Yeah, but the Ruination, they've been doing like 3 or 4 variations of it now this year. I've seen.
Yeah. No, I mean, and it's interesting. I think you're probably right. Where to a certain extent, it's a way of either dealing with their own internal fatigue with a recipe, or it's sort of brand fatigue as far as their customer base goes. Because now that you mention it, it seems like about the time that Stone started changing over to the 2.0s was about the time that you saw a lot of new varieties of Sierra Nevada beers showing up on store shelves. Some that you'd probably seen before, but not to the degree that you were seeing them now, like Narwhal and barrel-aged Narwhal and the Color Weiss and.
Well, I mean, we've seen the Torpedo is like kind of the invigoration of all those newer ones. I would think, because that was kind of something. That was almost like an innovative beer, if you ask me, because I don't know if you know the story behind that. Actually, Mike, that was when that came out, or that story about the Torpedo kind of came out around the time I was in Boston with you guys for the not Great American Beer Festival, Extreme Beer Fest.
Extreme Beer, yeah.
And because it has to do with the fact that, you know, hops used to be, you know, stuck in like this big bag, or like it was almost like a pantyhose, you know, and thrown in there. And their theory was that a good percentage of the hops wouldn't even get wet because the water wouldn't penetrate all the way through. So they created this torpedo, they called it, which was a canister that kind of shot the water through and made sure that all the hops were getting being used and getting incorporated into the beer, so that it wasn't wasted product. And I love the torpedo. I think that's one amazing beer. But I mean, their pale ale still stands out, you know, as one of the best in my opinion. And I like all the new ones that are coming out. I don't know if it has anything to do in response to Stone. I mean, it could, you know, I don't know, but.
Well, no, and I'm not saying in response to Stone so much as that it seems like there's sort of a time. It's a spirit of the time sort of thing, where, you know, these are two different responses to the same market force. Maybe is the best way of describing it.
Well, I don't know. I think they're a business, so you can't get you know, complacent. You can't rely on, you know, what has always worked in the past. You know, you got to kind of move on and you know, stick with those core beers, but at the same time, like, I don't know, I guess that kind of is a good reason why Stone's doing what they're doing, is just because it's you know, it's a good way to get your name to be talked about, and you know, and if they're really good beers, they may you know, surpass the originals, and you never know. So I don't think it's a bad thing. I think it's kind of an exciting thing to do, especially if you work for the brewery. It's kind of cool, like, you know, what's going to happen, what are people going to say, and that kind of stuff. I don't know. They do a pretty good job of staying in touch with their customers and their fan base. They do a lot of videos on YouTube. They have a channel there. They do a lot of Twitter stuff. I mean, the Stone Enjoy By, you know, is a huge Twitter effort, basically. I mean, when that beer, I don't know if they're still doing it this way, but I remember when that beer first came out, it was a big, like, online voting thing with Twitter. It was like, you know, whatever city or region got, you know, we're talking about it more, or we're enjoying it, you know, and talking about it and all that stuff, they would be more apt to send it to those regions the next time they made the beers. I don't know. I see it quite often now here in Chicago, that I don't know if it has any. Whoa, that sounds like a nitro. That's a nitro can right there. Wow. What's up, Kevin?
Glug, 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 glug.
That looks like an Irish beer.
It's actually Russian.
Very nice.
What?
No.
You know, watch that.
Oh, there's the Cascade.
Yep.
There you go. Nice.
It doesn't
What is
translate
that?
quite well to Google Plus, but you know what it looks like.
No, I can see it.
I can picture it.
Yeah. So.
How's it going, man?
Pretty good.
Wait,
What is that?
Wexford.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a Wexford.
Yep. It's the Brian Clark beer. That's his favorite.
Is it? I didn't
Oh
know.
yeah. He drank the whole 4-pack the last time he was over for a party.
Oops.
Nice. How's it been, man?
Not bad.
It's
Not bad at all.
an improvement over your, was it a Corona, a 2-year-old Corona in the fridge?
No, a year plus.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like
Yeah,
the comment about that not really being beer anymore.
Yeah.
No, it's transformed into something else.
I gotta clean it out with all the Bud Light and Miller Lite and Coors Light that are in that drawer in the fridge out in the garage. They've spent I'm sure they've spent the winter freezing and thawing and
that would be the perfect vertical.
I'm sure that's what distributors do to that beer anyway. So it's
It's not exactly barrel aging, but
no, it's aging though.
yeah.
Frozen and thawed multiple times.
Oh God.
That kind of reminds me. What do you guys think about the idea of when they say, you know, if your beer is refrigerated and you buy it, don't let it, you know, warm up. You gotta keep it in the fridge. I remember when I was at Russian River, they only sold the Pliny in refrigerated bombers.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, well, I'm flying home with this, so He's like, well, we don't, because I asked, I said, do you have any that are not refrigerated? Because I'm taking it home, I'm flying home with it. He's like, we don't have any that aren't refrigerated. He's like, we don't sell it that way. So the idea is, you don't want your beer warming up and then cooling it back off again. Where I've heard that doesn't matter.
No, it is crap. I mean, that matters if it's in the fermenter.
Yes.
You don't want to do that.
No, but I've heard it's if you get a beer, that's what happens at the distributor anyways. It sits there on the warehouse floor, for, I don't know, maybe 30 days before it's sent to the retailer, and then it's in the refrigerator. So at that point, it's already happened, so it doesn't quite really affect the beer that much, from what I understand. So I think your beers in the garage are probably delicious, Kevin. So.
Maybe
I'm sorry, your beers in the garage. So what's new, man? How you been?
Not much. I had a good beer this week, one that I've had before, but the Permanent Funeral, the Three Floyds.
Oh yeah.
That was my birthday gift to myself. So I had that one on Monday.
Nice.
That is a good beer.
Yeah, happy birthday, by the way.
Oh, happy birthday. Yeah.
Yep. Worked and then came home.
Nice. In honor of your birthday, I opened a beer for my cellar.
Nice.
It was the anniversary of the Surly anniversary beer, the 8-year anniversary.
Oh, yeah.
So it was just called 8. It's a whiskey barrel aged barley wine. It was so damn good. I really wish I had bought more of those. What's that?
That's a lot of flavor in there.
Yeah, I mean it was something it took me about, I don't know, 3, maybe 4 hours to knock down the bomber, because it was really good. Yeah, I mean I'm drinking for 2 now, so. But yeah, that beer was delicious. I wish I had more of that. I've been I don't know. I think one of my newer favorite styles these days has been barley wine. So they're when they're done well, man, they're done well. And I, like I said, I was at Binny's when I went beer shopping this week, and they had like a ton of them right next to each other. There was the Avery. What's the one with the little pig flying on the label?
Oh, right. I know what you're talking about.
But it's their barley wine right next to the Salamoth Tickle Fight, which is their barley wine, and that's a really good one. So,
have you had now? I think this was a barley wine, the Sweet Repute from Founders that we brought home. Do you remember that?
That's a wheat wine.
Is that right? Oh,
yeah,
okay.
I still have a bottle of that in the basement. Actually, it's actually the bottle from that weekend.
Yeah, that's what I have too. Same here. Kevin brought like a case, so he's had a few.
I remember, there are 2 things I remember from Swan from that weekend: are buying a case of Sweet Repute, and hops are fading.
And what?
And the hops are fading. That was his mantra.
Oh, that's right. We got Hop Slam that same weekend.
Yeah.
So the Sweet Repute, I never had it. Actually,
No?
You guys bought a whole bunch of it, and I don't think I even had any.
Oh, okay. No, yeah, I've never had it either. I just have the bottle in my my cellar over there.
It's not the garage, I hope.
No.
Okay, good.
Underneath the bar.
Okay, good.
What's the difference between a barley wine and a wheat wine, Dan? Have you had the Sweet Repute yet?
I have not. And that one, I want to say that one they did with maple syrup too, or
it's aged in maple syrup.
Oh, the maple syrup barrels. If those are the Bliss barrels, might have
to crack if they are, or are they? Are you saying?
I don't know. I'd have to double check on that. But I mean, basically the grain bill is the difference. You're talking about a significant amount of wheat in there, and wheat has basically the same diastatic properties as barley, which means that it converts from starches to sugars just as easily as barley does, because it has the enzymes to do it. Some grains do, some don't. So it just means that they're doing enough, probably 30 to 40% minimum wheat in the malt bill to really kind of make it the standout ingredient on the malt side of it. So there you have it.
How's that Imperial Stout warming up?
It's warming up nicely. You are getting more of the malt character underneath it now. I mean, the hops are still pretty, not spazzy, but they're prominent. That's good. It's that, and the roastiness is tasty, and that's why I wanted to sit on it longer too. Is that given another year, the roastiness would kind of peel back a little bit more too. So, but it's a good beer. It's nice.
What, if you don't mind me asking, what is that one?
It's Danish. It's called Herr Fredriksson.
Oh.
And it's from Amager Bryhouse. So brewhouse, I'm sure, is the translation.
Wow, real Renaissance man.
No, just a really good faker is what it is. Because I'm just totally guessing.
I was gonna say you could have brought this to beer you can't pronounce night.
Oh yeah, no kidding.
No, whenever in doubt, just make it up. And actually, no, it's funny because a friend of mine studied German, and I was talking to an Austrian friend of his, and he was drinking, and he was noticing that his accent was becoming better the more he drank. So I'm using the same theory with the show,
Yep.
So take that for what it's worth.
Nice. Kevin, I've got the something you're familiar with, the La Fin du Monde.
Ooh, I brought that a few times to the show.
Yeah, so
I like that one.
Haven't had it. I haven't had this one in probably about a year, maybe even two. So I figured.
Cool. I threw the last couple of years on my birthday. So going back to 2013, I picked up a 4-pack of Matilda each year. And so I threw a 2013 in there to have probably this weekend. And I might even buy a new 4-pack and compare it to a 2015 just to see if I can tell any difference after sitting for 2 years.
I've heard that's a good beer to age.
Mm-hmm.
I just started putting them away in the closet maybe a year ago, so I've got a couple as well. But I've heard it's one that really. It's a good one to sit on.
Yeah, I know the best thing is I know it well enough that from it, it's on tap in so many places. It's not like such an uncommon beer that if I have it, I'll be able to tell is it a little different than what I'm used to for having it fresh.
It's like a Belgian pale ale is what it's considered, right?
I think that's what they label it, Belgian style pale ale.
No, wait, was it Mike or Kev that found a 4-pack on that, or was it a bomber that had been just sitting there for a while?
Oh wow, that was me. Yeah, that was a year ago.
Yeah,
because I remember we were in Indianapolis, and we were in like a glorified gas station. It was I guess it was a liquor store, but it was not. You paid a guy that was behind the glass. But they had a decent selection, and I was there because they had a bunch of like really local Indianapolis breweries that I'd never heard of, and that's kind of what I wanted to try. But as we're walking out, I saw that bomber, and it was like, this is a 2009 Matilda, which at the time was like 5 years old. I was like,
That's
wow.
amazing.
And like, but it's dusty sitting at this gas station in the sun, so I think I'm gonna pass.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Yeah,
I might have rolled the dice on that just to see.
Yeah, I know. Me too.
I didn't dismiss it out of hand. I thought about it.
Nice. So I guess they just announced GABF tickets going on sale.
Oh yeah. Actually, pre-sales are coming up. I think on the 28th.
Looks like, the 28th. Looks like they are increasing it with 90,000 additional square feet in the tasting hall.
Oh my God! Oh, and that's at the place with the bear out in front.
Yes.
I forget what they call it. The Denver
It's
Expo.
like the convention center.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's huge.
Yeah.
I've been to that festival once, and it's hands down the greatest thing in the world if you're a beer fan. So I highly recommend that. But it's so they're anticipating 60,000 attendees.
Wow.
Through 3,500 different beers from more than 800 breweries. That's so crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy.
And I can't remember if Zach from Chain Reaction Brewing went last year, but I assume he's got to be going this year because they've been pretty enough established in that area to probably warrant another visit there if they weren't there last year.
Well, and they probably have gotten enough sort of lead time now because I'm sure that first year that they went in, it was all about getting the brewery going. I mean, you don't have a whole lot of extra time on top of that. Kind of sort out GABF.
Yeah.
But actually, what I'm curious about is Skylar too, because I know Skylar wants to go, but I'm not sure if he's going to be able to go this year or not.
I mean, is the brewery that he works for going there, or are you saying?
Oh yeah, I mean, I would. He would have to go. I mean, he's the guy. He's the brewer.
Yeah, I mean, but it's not always the brewers that serve at that festival or any festival for that matter. That's the one thing about going to those things is sometimes you're just dealing with volunteers who don't know anything about the brewery itself. And because I've been there where I'm like, hey, so tell me about blah blah blah. He's like, I don't know, I don't really work there. I'm just a volunteer.
No, I mean, no. I know that, for example, the brewer for Zumbier went last year. I'm pretty sure that 99% of the brewers go because it's kind of the place where everybody goes. So it becomes very much an industry event as much as it is sort of a spectator event, if you know what I mean.
Oh, it's like if you're a beer geek, Dan and Kevin, you were both with me for Beer Under Glass, and I was like, I know that guy, oh, blah, blah. Well, in Denver for GABF, it's like 10 times worse. It's like you're in Hollywood and you're like looking at all these, celebrities. It's crazy. I remember we went to dinner at some restaurant and like 2 tables down were like the Alstrom brothers from Beer Advocate, and they had like a table full of people. A couple of them I recognize as brewers from different breweries all over the place. Beer bloggers everywhere. There's all kinds of fun, cool stuff if you are looking to geek out about all the beer stuff. It's a fun time. Denver's got some great like food too. Like not only is the beer just amazing out there, but their restaurant scene is amazing. I mean, I was only there like 5 years ago, and I remember I was really impressed by that too.
No, and it's a good walking town as long as you account for the fact that A, you better wear sunblock, and B, there's a lot less oxygen.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I know they say that, but I never really got affected by that. I remember everyone saying that, and there's the whole, like, you're going to get drunk easier if you're in Denver, but I don't know. I figure I just equated it to just how many beers I had already, so it wasn't a matter of the altitude at all. But yeah, GABF is amazing. If anyone watching is interested, it's something to definitely go to. Has anyone ever gone to Germany for like the beer fest, Oktoberfest?
I mean,
I did. I was there 3 years ago, 4 years ago.
Were you?
Nice.
Yeah.
What was it like?
Oh man, it's like a, you know what it's like? It's like I the way I would describe it, it's like a small town or like medium-sized town, like county fair, but with like multiple gigantic beer tents. That most people are like in the beer tents drinking, having a good time. But then you've got like games and like carnival rides and like all this other stuff that's around it. And it's huge. It's just like, it's like, 10, 20 times bigger than like a county fair. But that's like the feel that it has. It's really neat. And so my wife and I went, and we basically we spent the day there, and just kind of going to the different tents and trying the different beers. And I remember like the Lowenbrow tent like had a really good vibe. Like just people were there like just ready to have a good time, and every tent's the same in that it's big. There's like these big long tables, and you just grab a seat wherever you can grab a seat next to whoever. And everyone speaks English. So if they're German, they speak English. If they're from some other country, they speak English. So like that's never a problem. But like they've got like different music, and they've got like a different like feel to them, and yeah, of course, like different beers because each tent is a different brewery. But it was a blast. It was a blast. I would love to go back, but you know I know that that may be a long time from now. But
Yeah.
it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun.
Is it hard to get into the tents? Because that's what I was when I researched it when I wanted to go at one point. I was told like get there early and camp down at a table because it's going to be hard. Otherwise, you're kind of like standing there.
We didn't, not that we saw. I mean, there was a couple tents that were full. That they were kind of like they were lining people up like outside, like to get in if you wanted to get into that one. But I mean, we would just go to the next one, and there'd be space there. Or it was a lot of the tents, like they've got the tent and then they have like a section like seating outside. So even like the ones that were full, they always had like space outside, so you could like sit outside. And yeah, you weren't like in there for the music and stuff. But if all you wanted to do was like try the beer or get food or something like that, like you could just sit outside and get the food there. So it wasn't a problem. I mean, yeah, like sure there was maybe you know, I forget what brewery it was that we wanted to like that tent we wanted to go to, and yeah, like you know we wanted to go there. It was full, we couldn't get in, but there was also like 5 other tents that we hadn't been to yet. So it was like, oh, let's just go to this one instead. So it didn't end up being a big deal.
Nice. Yeah, I've always wanted to go to that. I see in the chat, Jean-Pierre, you've got a beer fest in your neck of the woods called Dolphin?
Yeah,
Dolphin.
Dolphin Street Beer Fest is going to take place a week before Labor Day weekend. It's August 20, if I'm correct, August 27th. But you know, you want to look at the website, you can take a look. Bunch of you can go. You have to pay, I think, $25. You know, you have to show, pay that amount, and then you have that little. They give you a card. And you go to every restaurant that is on Dolphin Street, or every bar, or every, or somewhere that's close to Dolphin Street that's involved in that beer fest, and you sample so many different beers, craft beers to your, adjunct lagers to your, micros, you name it, and you have that card, they'll have you taste all these different beers,
That sounds cool.
Yeah, and it's, for folks who love college football down here, it's a week, so it'll get them revved up before college football weekend.
Well, that's
There
right.
you go.
That's good timing right there.
Exactly. That's why they do it. So.
Very cool. All right, so I guess it's getting close to 9. It's actually 9 on the dot. So do we want to add anything to the list? I know we read it off every week, so I don't know if I have to do that again.
What's next week? What's going on next week?
We're going to figure it out right now.
Figure that out.
Okay.
So what were you going to say, Kevin?
I would say you don't have to add nitrogenated cream ale.
All right, so let me think. What's a style right now? Do we have lager? We've got Kolsch.
Okay.
Lawnmower beer, which is 5% or lower. I'm just trying to think of what might fit for the time.
Seasonal, yeah.
The year that we're in.
Too early for pumpkin beer?
Yeah, we get another 3 weeks probably.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's coming. We'll add that on in a couple weeks. Yeah, we've got some decent stuff for the time, but we've got some like 13% or higher.
Is the beer I can't pronounce is still on there, right?
Yep,
Yeah.
that's on there.
Yeah, we gotta let's just go with what we have. That thing's gotta come up. It's been on there for like a year now.
It's like a bad penny.
All right, let's let this go. It's spinning, and we're landing on. Can you guys read it?
No.
Root beer?
Craft beer?
Nut beer.
Nut beer.
What does that mean?
Beer brewed
nuts
with
in it?
nuts.
Nut beer.
I don't know where to find that. I've never heard of it.
Well, there's
Yeah,
the
me too.
there's the hazelnut brown from Rogue. There's, I don't know, man. You're gonna have to search it.
The pecan pie porter or something like that. You know,
Oh man, I just had. Oh, I've got to see if they. Okay, never mind. I'm not gonna say it.
Yeah, they're around. They're around.
Not so hard, huh?
Requires a little research.
No, I just had one. I'm gonna have it again if I can find it.
Nice. All right. Well, appreciate you guys joining this week. We'll be seeing you next Wednesday at 8 p.m. Central Time with nut beers.
All right.
All right.
Cheers and
All right.
thanks for joining us.
Sounds good.
Cheers.
Good night.
Cheers.